Hey guys, it's Miss Sophia again, back from Ms Hoa's English Communication Centre. Welcome back to our speaking and listening series. In today's video, we are going to learn 20 new adjectives to describe negative personality traits. Are you ready to get going? Let's go! So, what negative personality traits do you think you have? Are you lazy? Are you angry? Are you anxious? Or are you something else? I think I'm a little lazy and sometimes angry, but only when I'm tired. What negative personality traits do you have? Now, let's take a look at our first 7 adjectives to describe negative personality traits. I'll run through them first and then we will match the adjectives with the correct picture. 1. Angry. 2. Clumsy. 3. Defeated. 4. Jealous. 5. Lazy. 6. Nervous. 7. Uptight. So our first adjective is angry. This, of course, shows someone that is very angry. Our second adjective is clumsy. This is a clumsy person. Our third adjective is defeated. This man is showing that he is defeated. 4 is jealous. In this picture, we can see that this girl is jealous. Our 5th word is lazy. This man here looks very lazy. Number 6 is nervous. This girl is biting her nails, so we can see that she is nervous. And finally, number 7 is uptight. This man checking his watch and making phone calls shows that he may be a little uptight. Okay, before we match these words, their definitions, we are going to fill in the missing vowels. So only A, E, I, O, U are missing from these words. Can you insert the vowels and see which words they make? Our first word is angry, so it's missing an A. Our second word is clumsy, so it's missing a U. Our third word is defeated, so it's missing a few E's and an A. Our fourth word is jealous, missing an E, an A, an O and a U. Jealous. Our 5th word is missing an A. It is, of course, lazy. 6th, we have nervous. Missing an E, O and a U. And finally, uptight is missing a U and an I. Did you manage to get them all right? I hope so. Okay, now let's look at the definition that pops up and see which of our adjectives it matches to. Our first definition is a feeling or showing an envious resentment for someone or their achievements and possessions. This is jealous. Our second definition is awkward in movement or handling things. This is clumsy. I would say I am very clumsy. I drop things all the time and I'm always falling over my own feet. So I would describe myself as clumsy. Our third definition is anxious or angry in a tense and overly controlled way. This is uptight. Next, is feeling or showing strong annoyance, displeasure, or hostility. This is, of course, angry. Someone that is unwilling to work or use energy, we would describe as lazy. Our next definition is demoralised and overcome by adversity. We would use the adjective defeated here. And finally, apprehensive and anxious, easily agitated. This is nervous. I hope you managed to fill in the vowels and match these words to their correct definitions. Okay, now that they're all matched up, let's say the words together and repeat the definitions again. Angry. Angry. This is feeling or showing strong annoyance, displeasure, or hostility for something. Clumsy. Clumsy. This means awkward in movement or handling things. Maybe somebody that drops things or trips over all the time. Defeated. Defeated. This is when you are demoralised or overcome with adversity. Often, at the end of a boxing match, the losing boxer will look very defeated. Jealous. Jealous. This is feeling or showing envious resentment for someone or the things and achievements that they have. Lazy. Lazy. This is unwilling to work or use any energy. So if somebody sits around all day on the couch watching TV, you could say they are lazy. Nervous. Nervous. This is someone that is apprehensive, anxious, and easily agitated. If you see somebody biting their nails, they are often very nervous. And finally, uptight. Uptight. This is someone that is anxious or angry in a tense and overly controlled way. So maybe if you have a boss that is under a lot of pressure, they may be uptight. Now, let's listen to the clip and answer the following question.
How's George doing?
Not so good, you know. He's having a terrible time at work, so he keeps coming home very angry. He's so tired that he doesn't want to do anything, and he's being so lazy all the time.
Oh man, I'm sorry. Maybe he needs to change that job.
How does the girl describe George? Does she say he's A, angry, B, lazy, C, nervous? She describes the boy as angry and lazy. She does not describe him as nervous. Now, let's take a look at our next list of adjectives. These next set of adjectives are not written as words, but in their phonetic form. Can you look and read the words aloud to see what adjectives they are? Okay, our first adjective in the list of phonetics is grumpy. Our second word is obnoxious. Our third word is panicky. Our fourth word is repulsive. Next in the list is thoughtless. Then we have worried. And our final word is anxious. Did you manage to work them out from their phonetics? I'm sure you did. Okay, let's move on to look at some definitions of the words. Now, let's match these definitions with their correct negative adjective. Uncontrollable fear or anxiety is someone that is panicky. Feeling or showing worry, nervousness or unease about something with an uncertain outcome is anxious. Extremely unpleasant. This is obnoxious. Bad-tempered and irritable is grumpy. Not showing consideration for the needs or wants of others is thoughtless. Anxious or troubled about actual or potential problems is worried. And finally, arousing intense distaste or disgust. This is repulsive. Did you manage to match those negative adjectives to their definitions? Now that they're all matched up, let's practice saying those words and read the definitions together again. Grumpy. Grumpy. This is someone that is bad-tempered and irritable. So maybe if you're at school and your teacher seems to be in a bad mood, you could say, "She seems very grumpy today." Second, we have obnoxious. Obnoxious. This is someone who is extremely unpleasant. If someone possesses a lot of qualities that you find irritating or annoying, you may say, "I find them so obnoxious." Panicky. Panicky. This is an uncontrollable fear or anxiety. Repulsive. Repulsive. This is someone that arouses intense distaste or disgust. If they do things that make you sick, you could say, "I think they are repulsive." Thoughtless. Thoughtless. This is someone that has no consideration for the wants and needs of others. So if their actions are selfish, you may call this person thoughtless. Worried. Worried. This is an anxious or troubled feeling about actual or potential problems. So if you have a deadline coming up and you haven't completed your work, you could say, "I'm really worried about the meeting on Friday. I'm not ready for it yet." And finally, anxious. Anxious. This is feeling or showing worry, nervousness, or unease about something with an uncertain outcome. Sometimes the anxiety can be unnecessary, but the person still feels anxious about the potential outcome of something. So, if you are going on a blind date, maybe you would say to your friend, "I'm really anxious about it. I don't know what he's going to look like or what he's going to be like." Okay, for our last set of adjectives, before we read them, we need to put in the missing letters. Take a few minutes to have a look at the words and see if you can work out which letters are missing. Okay, our first word is arrogant. Our second word is bossy. Next we have cynical. Then rude. Next, know it all. And finally, killjoy. Have you heard any of these negative adjectives before? And do you know what they mean? Now we've filled in the missing letters, let's find out what the words mean. Don't forget to say the words along with me, and then I'll let you know the definition. Arrogant. Arrogant. This means having or revealing an exaggerated sense of one's own importance or abilities. So, if you meet someone that seems overly sure of themselves, you may say they seem very arrogant. Bossy. Bossy. This is someone that is fond of giving people orders. They are very domineering. So a leader will often be seen as bossy. Cynical. Cynical. This means you believe people are motivated purely by self-interest. You are also doubtful as to whether something will happen or whether it is worthwhile. People that show negative personality traits are often described as cynical, as they will always put a negative spin on a positive situation. Rude. Rude. This is someone that is offensively impolite or bad-mannered. So if they don't speak nicely to other people or don't show politeness, you could describe them as rude. Know it all. Know it all. This is a person who behaves as if they know everything. So every time you say something, they may come back to you with a fact check. And this way, you could call this person a know-it-all. Finally, killjoy. Killjoy. This is someone that sucks the fun out of everything. They deliberately spoil the enjoyment of others. So if you have a friend that never wants to do what you're doing or complains about what you're doing when you're doing it, you could say, "Oh God, Lisa is such a killjoy." Now let's listen carefully to the clip and answer the following questions.
How's the new job going?
Pretty good, although my boss is an absolute nightmare.
Why? What's he like?
He's so arrogant and bossy, a real know-it-all.
Oh no, that's not what you want.
I know, right? At lunch the other day, we were all having a great time until he came along. He is such a killjoy.
How does she describe her new boss? Does she say cynical, rude, or bossy? She describes her boss as C, bossy. What word does she use to show that her boss spoils the enjoyment of others? Does she say he's arrogant? Does she say he's a killjoy? Or does she say he's a know-it-all? That's right, she calls him a killjoy. Now let's practice using the adjectives we've learnt today. Describe the most negative person you can think of. What traits do they have? What are they like? Are they a glass half empty or half full person? This means when you look at a glass of water, if you see it half empty, you are a more negative person, but if you see it half full, you are a more positive person. And do you have any similar traits to the negative person you are thinking of? So, if I think of the most negative person I know, I would say they are very bossy and uptight I would say that they are rude, repulsive, and obnoxious. I also think a very negative personality trait is someone being cynical. I think this because this often affects other people and how they feel, because they put everything down. All of these traits would make this person a glass half empty kind of person, as they are very negative. Out of these following traits, I wouldn't say that I'm obnoxious, cynical, or repulsive, but sometimes I can be a little bit bossy. And I would add to the list that sometimes I can be lazy too. Have a look at the questions and see what you think. So, that's the end of our 100 Common English Adjectives video series. I hope you've enjoyed it and have learned lots of new adjectives to use every day. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and let us know what you'd like to see in our next video series. Thanks for watching and see you again soon. Bye!
Ms Hoa Giao Tiếp, độc quyền phương pháp phản xạ truyền cảm hứng.